This is Direfon here with Risk of Rain 2. A lot of the other roguelite shooters I had not terribly much to say apart from their aesthetic, which I figured was going to be the case when looking at gameplay mechanics of a whole series that is somewhat similar. I mean, every genre of game is going to have some sort of core experience that's the same. That's how we can separate them in genres. And oh goodness, 1 second, I am so white. So, this game I have spent nearly 500 hours on, so I am very familiar with this. I love this game so much, and I tried to get my friends into it for so long. This is a third-person rogue-lite or rogue-like game where you upgrade your characters with different items, and they're infinitely stackable, which is a huge thing that I absolutely love about this game. So let's go ahead and open up a single player where I'm gonna play on. Let's go Rainstorm. I don't want to do Monsoon because I don't know how much talking will affect my gameplay. It's also been a little bit, so it could take a while. And this game, I've had some games that last, I think the longest was 3 hours where I was actively playing. So let's maybe not do that. And for simplistic gameplay sake, let's do Huntress. So right out of the bat, there's all sorts of options on this front screen. The character selections, difficulty, of course. Each character has a variety of different skills that you can interchange. All of these secondary abilities, the non-default abilities for the characters, and the characters themselves, along with these artifacts, are hidden behind the game. You have to do specific things. Sometimes, like for Huntress, one of these abilities, I believe, well, one of them, you have to have 12 of the same item on that character. It's a specific item called a crowbar, and you have to have 12 of them to unlock that ability. You could die right after, but as soon as you hit 12, that character is unlocked, or that ability is unlocked, and you can forever change it. And I do appreciate that, and it brings some added replayability purely in like a questline sense where you're trying to unlock this cool thing. And then the artifacts are even like cooler in my opinion, and hopefully we can get there. So, onward with, well, Risk of Rain. So most characters drop out of this pod, you pop out, and for instance, one character, you have to go behind the pod and carry this the entire, or like the first half of a full game playthrough. It effectively hinders you because you cannot go beneath half health before you die. So if you're trying to unlock that character, the game gets a little bit harder before you're even able to. The whole upgrading system of the game is based off of how many enemies you can kill at a time. The enemies somewhat unlimitedly spawn. I do believe there is a cutoff, but then using money that you get from defeating enemies, you buy things on the ground, like this little equipment barrel. Using it, I get my favorite equipment. Equipment specifically give you an extra ability where you press Q and it refreshes over time. They're usually a much longer duration than your default abilities, but they are usually powerhouses too. Each character has specific abilities that can give you an array of different things to do. Like this shift is a long-range burst. It's kind of like a rush. My default primary fire is a triple shot, and my secondary is kind of like a boomerang against a large group of enemies. And my R is like long range. I can snipe around here, but it's a specific targeting ability. But along with everything else, with chests you can buy drones, which help and aid you getting you that money where you can buy more things. These do only they can be destroyed and damaged, much like everything else in this game. So it could be money well spent or money completely abused, depending upon how you use it. Most chests look like this blue one and pop out an item. This one giving me an extra increase in dodge. So if an enemy hits me with a bullet, there's a small chance that I am able to take no damage from it, or I can gain health. I specifically love this game because of its different movement abilities and how they're able to stack. So, like in the other games that I've played, there are abilities that let you permanently gain a jump or move some percent faster, maybe. But in this game, there are multiple ways for you to get faster, and there's really no limit. If I can, I'm going to put up some gameplay, either of myself or other people, where the jumping is just insane. And the pure amount of speed is night and day compared to what I'm currently doing. And interestingly, this is one of my critiques of the game. That movement, it makes me want to play the game less, because there are usually one of two outcomes when it comes to upgrading your character. The worst of all is if you're moving too fast that you can't control yourself, you're just not having fun during that gameplay, and it absolutely sucks. And now, the not so bad of which, I feel like, is if you're moving fast, if you have to reset for any reason, like if you die, if you want to reset, like a friend wants to join you or anything, you feel just how less powerful you are compared to your previous self. And it can really sting. Like, oh, 40 minutes of my life, I really feel that wasted now. But that rush of power when you're playing, it can be so cathartic. It is immensely fun to play through. So on to the gameplay itself. Along with opening up chests, you continue the playthrough by going and finding these little portals. These portals, once activated, spawn a random boss, depending upon the biome. Sorry, it's getting a little hectic. And to defeat the boss, first off, knock out all of its HP. Second off, you have to stay in this red bubble area, which I'll show you in, right here. That always spawns around the portal itself. So if you stay in there for some amount of time and the boss is dead, you are able to continue on to the next level. And from there are 5 different stages that you have to beat to be able to move on. Whoa! In order to fight the final boss, which once there, I do believe you get a character. I believe you get a character for just going through 3 levels, so it's a bit generous when it comes to unlockables. And there are a lot of different unlockables. Ooh. So as you can see, well, let me continue on with this first. We're going to go through where I lose all of my money, so I can't go back and buy these things, which I probably should have. And we're going to move on to a different stage. Like I said, the money does not carry over, and the enemies get harder and the items more expensive. There are variants in what levels you go into, but stage 1, it's one of, I think, 3 grassy areas, versus stage 2 being this, or I don't remember what the other stage 2 is. I believe it's blue. So there's different biomes, and it does help with replayability, but there's only 2 or 3 variants per stage, so it can get a little repetitive once you reach a certain point. And all of these maps are roughly the same. However, there are randomly generated parts of the map that can spawn depending upon whether the game wants you to or not. So there might be a segment of this map that opens up when scripted, but it will always be this map once the desert is spawned. You can spawn in different areas, and that does help a little bit. And you can really rush through this game if you're looking for the teleporter. But I'm taking it a bit slow because already I'm having a hard time straightening out my words and figuring out what I'm going to talk about. So I do find this game very, very forgiving when it comes to items, at least now, where you can go up to this thing and repurpose one of your items. Like, I don't want that slug, which passively heals me if I'm not doing damage. I can get this scrap, which then can be reformed into an item if an item generator spawns. It's called a 3D printer in this game. And from there, it will use that scrap first. Otherwise, it will take a random same rarity item and make that 3D printed item. So the rarities are also a fairly big thing. White, green, orange for the equipment, yellow and red are the different variants. Each one getting a little bit harder to get or a little bit rarer as it goes on. Generally, you end up with a lot of whites, but I was very surprised when we already got this red, this interstellar desk plant. It is a honestly bad red, where it doesn't do that much for the player, but it does look like it's been reworked since last time I played, so it could be good. Ooh. And then for different types of items, there can be ones that affect movement. There are ones that trigger on a certain percentage per hit. Ooh, it's getting a little hard. So here, it's effectively a chest that you can choose of 3 specific items. The soda can increases movement when you sprint. The goat hoof increases movement in general. And the propane tank, gas tank, gives your firing a chance to set on fire. I think I'll take the goat hoof, which helps with getting through a level faster, as the enemies do get harder the longer you have been active in a game. 10 minutes is about the time I should be getting out of level 2. So we'll go ahead and look for the boss. Oh, and here are one of the 3D printables. So I do have this scrap from the slug that I scrapped earlier, and I guess I'd rather have this that increases damage the closer I am to an enemy. So I'm gonna go ahead and get that. Again, I would be able to try it again and get rid of a random white item, but I'd rather not. I like the goat hoof, I like the armored plating. I just want to keep going. It is somewhat strange that we get 2 of the same bosses in a row, but hey, sometimes that's just how the cookie crumbles. Ooh. And you can really see how the enemies during the boss fight can get a little out of hand. I'm glad that I have this bouncing, almost boomerang of an arrow to help me with this. Oh, yeah. And my specifically targeting attack to deal with the boss, because that can be a real pain over time. Oh, just like now. And I get out of the way of his big attacks. So, enemy defeat, or a big boss defeated, and now I have to wait for the teleporter to charge. I still have to stay in this area as more enemies spawn. The boss did spawn this nice little item, which is great for the Huntress. That's critical hits now heal me. I do need a better critical hit chance, and there are items that give me that chance. Sunglasses, and even this item right here gives me a passive 5% just by existing. So that's nice. Whew. This game is very movement based. If you aren't moving, you're probably gonna die, especially on higher levels. You don't really get a moment's rest like you could with the other games. And part of that is kind of constructed due to being able to see more of the map and more of your character when you're in 3D. If it was a first-person game and it was that hard, you would get a lot more motion blur. You would have a hard time focusing on what enemies are doing and who's looking at you. So having it be third person is an absolute necessity for a third person game so focused on, moving. So we're on stage 3, and there are items specifically for getting through the stage quickly to help speed run through a process. I did not make it. I believe it's 10 minutes or less I have to make it to this level. But as I've said before, the different levels, there are 2 or 3 different levels that can spawn on each stage. Again, there are 5 stages. and each of the levels do give better loot the higher up you are. Level 4, I believe both of the spawning levels gives you a chance at a guaranteed red item, depending upon fulfilling different conditions. One being an extra boss fight, which I hope I get, and one just spending a lot of money. Now, a real good thing that I love about this game is how you can abuse your environment in order to progress the game faster. So, because of our movement, I could go straight up here, one of the highest points in the map, and start looking around. Where is the teleporter? And there are orange sparkles around this area over here, and that tells me that the teleporter's over there, so I can go there quickly. Unlike a lot of the other games, Gunfire is a little bit different because it's a linear path, but every other game that I've looked at is some sort of grid or dungeon explorer, so it's harder to find the boss fight to progress the level. If you really tried in this game, I'm sure you could beat it in 20 minutes, maybe even faster, probably even faster, depending upon your luck and, well, a lot of luck and some skill. Speaking of, this boss is not a great one to get so early because it's kind of hard to hit, in my opinion. I just kind of have to get lucky with some positioning and hope it doesn't hit me. I do really enjoy some of the bosses in this game. The Guardian that we've been fighting, not so much, but this Magma Worm is a carryover from the 2D version of this game, Risk of Rain 1, but it works so well in 3D as a threatening boss. I enjoy it just for its creativity and what it can do in a 3D space. It makes you worry about the floor that you're on and really, really wants you to keep moving so you don't get hit by this monstrosity. Also, when it pops up out of the ground, it shoots out these magma little balls that it cause explosions, or eventually it can level up into lightning. So again, because these enemies level up, it's not just a flat stat increase. Sometimes they get like type effects. So they do specific typing and are resistant to specific typing depending upon their spawn. One of the hardest is the lightning worm, which when it drops those magma balls would be lightning balls that they create a huge pillar of lightning. No matter how high you are in the air, it will just strike you down and cause a lot of damage. It's kind of devastating. Now, stage 4, and we do get the extra boss fight. I'm excited about that. There are these shrines, too, across the map that do different things. Some of them are very simple. They take health and give you gold in return. And I guess I should say that this is a very... Oh, God. Oh, God. Hard time. Nope. I want to activate this, please. Okay. God. So I just activated a healing shrine. So that way, as long as I'm in this little area, I'm able to heal up, even if I'm frozen or stuck. And I'm going to increase that, both the rate of healing and the area of effect, because, oh, it's going to be nice for the boss fight, which I'm already scared of. So, I should have said this before. This game has a passive health regen system. You can get things that increase health regen passively. You can have abilities that do it. You can find abilities through items that help you heal. This game has a lot of options for so many different characters and abilities that it quickly became one of my favorite games. What we're going to do is pop all these eggs, and eventually we'll get a little message saying, oh, someone's not happy. I wonder why they're not happy no more. Wonder why. Oh, I hear a distant whirring. They're not happy. Oh, I broke their children. Now, why does a giant eye have eggs for children? Don't question it. Just don't question it. It's not worth it. But once we defeat this guy, we do get a guaranteed red item, and I'm hoping it's going to be something good. I mean, why wouldn't you? With this extra boss, though, I can continue to collect items, spend money outside of any designated area, which helps a little bit, especially if you get stuck on this boss. Yeah, I think I'd rather get this health thing. There are different chests that guarantee you different things. The default chest can spawn anything. There's an upgrade which guarantees a green or better, but it can still spawn anything. There is a combat chest, which spawns combat items, a healing chest, again healing items, and then I believe a support chest, which does everything else. So it telegraphs you a little bit what each chest can do, or what items can spawn. Like, here's the upgraded chest that's guaranteed a green at least. I need to earn enough money to actually buy it. So, I'm gonna open it up, guarantee a green. Oh, get a red! Yeah! Little bit of a bonus there. Oh, I don't have any double jump, so that's gonna be fun. And where's the giant eye? So to help with any confusion with, again, moving in a 3D environment that's so vast and meant for vertical gameplay, when it comes to fighting bosses, there's red arrows that point to the boss at all times. Very needed, but not something I see much outside of, say, flying games. Ooh. So we're going to continue to try and get this alloy warship unit destroyed, or at least put out of its misery. Whoa. That is another thing. Items don't just come from chests. Sometimes they can spawn from enemy drops, and there are certain gameplay mechanics that you can change to guarantee that. Oh god. Okay, let's run away. Just for a little bit. Let's be a coward. Let's be like Usopp. Get away, crow. I don't like you. So, I was following the development of this game as it was releasing, much like I have Gunfire Reborn. It is nice to actually feel like the developers are listening and actively trying to help out the community, which you get a lot of when you follow a game during its development. Hey, friends, please. Ooh, here's a combat chest. So I strongly do ask that you support these games. You really get the feeling that they're made by people who really care about what they make and who they make it for. I hope that people support this game, and honestly, people have. Enough so that these people can continue working on the game and continue working on fun things to make. I can't wait for their next project. Okay. Yeah, this is taking me too long. I'm having a real rough time. And the enemies are just going to get harder from here. Let's try and buy this green item, and hopefully it can help me out. Another scythe. Okay. It's about at half health. I'm still running like crazy, which is not the best. But I should be getting a new use of my rocket. Oh. Woohoo! What you gonna do, big boy? Sorry. I don't think you have the facilities for that, big man. So this thing shoots you straight up in the air, and there is eventually a ceiling that you reach where you spawn back at the bottom. And you can't just go out into the map indefinitely, even if you have the movement. It will eventually teleport you. But having the freedom to just move around the map, if you have the movement, is a fantastic little feeling. Ooh, like making that jump. Was it necessary? Absolutely not. Was it fun? Absolutely. So moving on from this, in the game itself, there are also lore dumps. Oh god. Nope, 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 nope. Okay. Everything's fine. And you'd be surprised how often one shot kills you out of nowhere from, like, full health. It isn't technically possible for that to happen, but it feels like that happens a lot of the time. Oh. Oh. And there are all sorts of speedruns and ways you can improve the game and make it more difficult. One of which I'm hoping to show you in the next blah 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 stage. In stage 5, it's guaranteed one specific area, but that one specific area... Oh, wait. I need to show you guys something first. That just reminded me. Oh, and there's this... No, well, actually, that might not be the worst thing. It's taking me a while for this boss. So, in each of the different maps, there is a pattern that you can find, and I think I'm heading towards the right area. It gives you a secret code that unlocks something once inputted. Oh, God. Fun times. Oh, no, it spawned me at the bottom. That's not great. I want that one. I keep getting these. I'm not a melee character. Yeah. Okay, if it's not there... Oh, wait, it's here, isn't it? It's this thing? Okay, this thing right here. There's a circle and a bunch of triangles. This missing piece, it's part of a code to unlock little extras in the game. Modifications that each of your runs can have. Like, maybe each enemy has an elemental type. Or any enemy can spawn wherever. It doesn't matter what biome. Different things like that. Oh, this is not... Yep, and I die. Well, I guess the rest is up to you. I do strongly urge you to go ahead and try and play this game. It can be very fun, and I know for a fact that this is 4 players. It helps when one player knows what they're doing and is able to help out the other people, especially when unlocking characters, because once somebody finds a playstyle that they like, they can really roll with it. And then once they get comfortable there, they can branch out and try different playstyles. At least that's how I experienced this. There are lots of secrets to find in these maps. I showed you the answer to one, but where you input it and where you can find the others is largely up to you. So just as an example for how insane things can be, you see this 3 times? Imagine 300 times. There is no limit here. Okay, there's technically a limit with some items. Like tougher times, like eventually it's like a logarithmic curve. It never hits 100% miss, but it gets really, really close. But then stuff like this. Fuel cell. Hold an additional equipment charge, reduce equipment cooldown. I never got to this talking in-game. But my little rocket launcher pack, it gave me 2 charges that I could hold of that rocket launcher, and it decreased the time. Imagine 99 of those, and you just waited till all 99 are up, and then you just kept shooting rockets. You just stood in the middle of a field and shot rockets. You'd be surprised how well that works. It is incredibly surprising how much you can just sit still once you reach a certain level. And depending upon your character, engineer. But feel free to tell me what you think about this little series that I made. I think this is the last one that I had planned. But I really wanted to talk about a game series or game genre that I like and that I'm trying in some ways to incorporate into Opposies. I can't really do items, and I'm doing mostly... I want to give you like a selection of moves that can work, that you can upgrade. But let me know if you have any ideas for what I can do for that. If you think that a Pokemon-like game could benefit by any mechanics here. I'd love to hear it, and I'm sure I would love any implementation like this. So, please let me know down in the comments below. Thank you very much. Have a good night.